as you can tell, I'm trying to mix in some people that I never actually put in the news videos. But we got an update on Bryan Danielson's health after Revolution, and we got a lot of AEW things to get to in this video, so we will get to that right now. It was announced last night on Dynamite that Forbidden Door 2 is the next pay-per-view from AEW and will be returning this year. And you gotta figure that, or you gotta wonder what type of inclusion New Japan will have this year at Forbidden Door. Not to say that it's gonna be any different than last year, but you do have to figure with especially the changes that have taken place within New Japan, with Jay White not being within the company anymore. You got to figure with the changes that have taken place, and also with AEW actually having a full-on champion this year. You know, what change will that bring? And also, if what we saw in the segment with MJF last night and the pillars of AEW interrupting MJF, will that match have anything to do with Forbidden Door, or is that a way to build to Double or Nothing, which Double or Nothing is also taking place in May, as well as Forbidden Door? But we also got to shift over to MLW War Chamber 2023, as we got another update on another match taking place at War Chamber in 2023. I mean, in April, rather. Of course it's in 2023. Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Calvin Tankman will collide at War Chamber on April 6th. In another update, as more matches continue to be announced for one of the big MLW shows coming up in April at the Melrose Ballroom in New York City. Calvin Tankman versus David Boy Smith Jr. is added to a card that already features John Hennigan versus Jacob Fatu for the National Openweight Championship. Taya Valkyrie, the newest AEW star, defending her Women's World Featherweight Championship against Dami Exo. Willie Mack versus The Real One. Lindsay Dorado versus Leo Rush for the World Middleweight title, which is the match we announced yesterday. Alex Kane versus Shinga Hiro Iri. And of course, the match that I just announced, of course, Billy Starks versus Becca, and Davey Boy Smith Jr. versus Calvin Tankman. A match for a MLW World Champion Alex Hammerstone and the Tag Team Champions, the Samoan SWAT team, have yet to be announced. But we also still have 2 weeks before the event, set to be the first post-WrestleMania event on the calendar, in my opinion. And with the amount of conversation that I've had about MLW's next major event, of course, that will be an event we preview on April the 6th. But also a little bit more information on Forbidden Door 2, as Forbidden Door 2 will take place in Canada, and it is set to kicking off a 6-show AEW Canadian tour, as English is not my first language, gibberish is my first language. Hang on a sec. Forbidden Door 2 will be in Canada this year. And Dynamite will take place in that it is the Dynamite before and the Dynamite and Rampage before and after. The Dynamite before and after Rampage, Forbidden Door will take place in Canada, and also Forbidden Door this year will not be taking place in May. It will be taking place in June. So it will be after. It will be after. Double or Nothing. Sorry, I should have did the research on this beforehand, but I'm doing it now. As New Japan and AEW will collide for their joint show on June 25th, and on June 28th, that edition of Dynamite will take place, and Rampage will take place in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, at the First Ontario Centre, and then Wednesday, July 5th, so the first Dynamite and Rampage of July will take place in Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta, with Forbidden Door taking place on June 25th in the Scotiabank Centre in Nova Scotia, Canada. So they are going to not only debut, and actually on July 12th and July 14th and also July 15th. So Dynamite on July 12th will be in the Saskatoon Center in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Rampage will be in the Brandon Center in Regina, Saskatchewan. And the House Rules AEW Live Event Tour will be in the iconic annual home, or the cultural event will be in Calgary Stampede in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, ending the 6-show tour in Canada. So what I didn't understand, the one thing I misunderstood was that AEW's Forbidden Door does not count to the 6-show tour. It is actually 6 episodes of Dynamite and Rampage taking place in Canada over the summer in 2023. And also, AEW will have the pay-per-view taking place in Canada, which I do believe will be the first pay-per-view for AEW taking place outside of the United States. And it is interesting for it to be AEW's pay-per-view with New Japan. And then Kenny Omega did a recent interview where he said that he is unsure of his future in AEW because he is just unsure of what he wants to do next. An update on Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson in a recent interview did also say basically that he's sore, he's sore, he's injured, he needs some time to heal, and basically that, he wrestled 65 minutes and he's showing the effect. And, that at some point he realizes that his kids are going to see that their dad is not just injured physically, but also mentally, as Bryan Danielson has went on record multiple times in the past talking about his mental health. I, for one, am a huge fan of Bryan Danielson and have been for the past 12 years, since before WWE. So I wish nothing but the best to Bryan Danielson, and hope that he can heal up and, mentally and physically, and get to a point where he, enjoy time with his kids. Enjoy time with his kids and come back when he's ready. Simple as that. So I wish nothing but the best to Bryan Danielson, and hope that he realizes that if he wants to lighten up a little bit, then he can lighten up a little bit in the ring. Vince McMahon update. Apparently, according to Sports Illustrated, I don't know why people have a tendency to want to keep reporting stuff about Vince McMahon's last appearance in Boston when he was at Raw, but apparently Vince McMahon tried hard to stay out of the way when he was at Raw a few weeks ago in Massachusetts. That's good news because Vince knows his place now, that it is not backstage. Apparently, he didn't even have a headset on when he was in gorilla position. He genuinely was just there to see his friend John Cena. And I will say this one last time. I will not report any other news about Vince McMahon and his last appearance in WWE unless it's something different regarding Vince. I will not. You will not hear me utter of Vince any occurrence about Vince McMahon because there is no more news to talk about Vince McMahon, especially when it comes to his last appearance in Massachusetts. Let it go. It happened. It's over with. Move on. Interesting bit of news. Saraya was apparently fined for cussing on AEW programming last night. I will not repeat what she said because honestly, I don't know as far as TOS when it comes to YouTube. When it comes to YouTube. And honestly, I'm not even sure what she said, to be honest with you, because I thought I knew what she said based on what they didn't want to say on the Cultaholic video that I watched that reported the news to me in the first place. But the fact of the matter is, they ended up saying the word that I thought she said, so I don't know what she said, to be honest with you. But either way, we end with some interesting news from AEW as after Dynamite went off the air, there was a face-off between the BCC, Hangman Page, and the Elite, specifically the Young Bucks, as Kenny Omega left the ring after the match, left the ring first. The Young Bucks hesitated to begin with, as a tease to possibly show that maybe they will align with Hangman Page in the not-too-distant future, or maybe a cover in case the Young Bucks do sign back with AEW and Kenny Omega doesn't, because Kenny's contract is up in the fall, so it is possible that maybe the Bucks and Hangman Page become the trio. But it also teases that, again, Hangman Page has more friends than just the Dark Order. So that was an interesting way to end, or interesting little nugget of jubilation for the fans in Winnipeg as AEW Dynamite went off the after AEW Dynamite went off the air. But I understand that this video may have been a bit of a clusterfuck, and I do apologize for not doing the research on Forbidden Door before the video, and assuming that Forbidden Door would just take place in May like it was last year. But I was researching other stuff when they were talking about it, and now I know better to say that if I missed something in the video that I watched, I should go back and rewatch it to reabsorb the information to better understand it. But having it in front of me also helped. So I do apologize for not doing the research beforehand. Either way, though, that is it for the news on this day, and well, I hope you enjoyed the news, and I will see you in the next news video.